going on, everybody? It's Weather with Jonathan here. And guess what? Over the past few days, it has been very, very quiet. And things are just starting to get very active. So that's what we need to talk about in this weather forecast. So first, starting off with our major cool down, because that weather pattern. It's just a gosh darn weather pattern that is just being very mean to us this April, at least so far. It is going to just make a major temperature cool down and another major temperature warm up. And guess what? You're about to see that right here. So you can see, look, this is our highs today. This is very warm. It's widespread 70s and 80s for much of the central portion of the country and the eastern half of the country. I mean, it's almost 90 degrees in Florida. It's 90 degrees in Texas. It's almost 85 degrees to 90 degrees in Oklahoma and Kansas. It is way too warm. And listen, it's just going to get worse because watch this heat just build up tomorrow over the central portion of the U.S. And this is where we get the temperatures upwards of 100 degrees. Yeah, you heard me right, you guys. 100 degrees, alrighty? Now, temperatures could be approaching 100 degrees in western Oklahoma and near Wichita Falls, Texas. So if you live in that area, you need to be aware of heat stroke. If you're feeling dizzy, nauseous, if you're feeling lightheaded, you need to get indoors and drink some cool water and cool yourself down because this can lead to deaths, okay? So we are really not wanting this to happen, but yeah. So you can see this cold front, and this is what's going to spark our severe weather outbreak in the central U.S. and the southern U.S. And that cold front is a very strong cold front. Look at this. I mean, this is lows the night before. It's going to get down to the 20s in portions of northwestern Nebraska, Colorado, mountains-ish, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota. And guess what? It only gets worse as this cold front pushes eastward. And overnight, temperatures could be approaching 30 degrees. You heard me right. In the 30s in northwestern Arkansas. That is unseasonably cold for late April. So this is going to be an unseasonably cold event for much of the U.S., and it could approach 10 degrees in Minnesota. Yeah, you heard me right, 10 degrees. And same for North Dakota and South Dakota in some areas. While the Northeast is getting some very warm temperatures, you can see right here, it's like 70s, 80s in Buffalo, New York City. It's very warm out there. But finally, that cold front pushes through the U.S. But guess what? It just gets colder. It's in the 30 degrees for lows Sunday night in Alabama, northern Alabama specifically. But still, that is very cold. It could be approaching 5 degrees in northern Minnesota. So it is very, very cold. And finally, we see that warm finally start to build up for much of the U.S. And I am starting to think the Northwest and the Western U.S. is really going to start seeing a major pattern swing, and they could start seeing a lot of warm temperatures. Okay, this is just a look at what could happen. So this is temperatures for May 4th. This is just a look at our temperatures, widespread warm temperatures across the country. Now, not if you really consider it for the central portion of the United States. It's only like 50 to 60 degrees for most of the central U.S., but for the western portion of the U.S. and the southern portion of the United States, it's pleasant weather. Now, like I just said, it's going to be very, very warm in Wichita Falls, Texas. That's why we got to look at our big warm up, and this is what I was talking about right here. Look, 95 degrees in Wichita, Texas. And look, if I put our temperature anomaly on, look at how above average it is. 10 to 20 degrees above average. And then, of course, you know what happens with that doggone weather pattern and that cold front? Guess what? You get all that cold and below average temperatures for the central U.S. So now let's begin with talking about our severe weather. So today we're going to have that moisture build up starting from about Wyoming all the way back through Texas. Now that dry line will push eastward and cause severe weather across much of portions of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, and of course Missouri if it's in this area. So you guys are included in that. And this story could have very, very large hail, damaging winds, and of course a couple tornadoes are possible with all the ingredients we have in place. And those dew points just keep rising overnight. Eventually, that cold front finally pushes through Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, and Oklahoma. And this is where we could also have some damaging wind gusts and very large hail. Now, tornadoes is not a primary threat, but it is still a possibility. And it also is a possibility as we head out into Friday, where severe weather threat shifts even more southeasternward and southernward into portions of northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, and western Mississippi. So now let's go ahead and see what our lightning flash rate is. And this is basically also something that helps us know where storms could fire off. So you can see this is around tomorrow. This is around today in the evening hours. We're gonna have storms rolling through much of the central U.S., the mid-Mississippi River Valley, and the Missouri River Valley, that area-ish. And then finally, we get into tomorrow, and this is where our severe weather threat really starts to ramp up. Okay, this is 4 p.m. Okay, you guys heard me right. This is 4 p.m. And this is what we're going to be getting. Okay, you can see we're going to have a lot of severe thunderstorms moving across Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and northern Missouri. And they'll start making it more southernward. And this is 5 a.m. on Thursday. Now, that's what it could be looking like, but it's going to look more like this at midnight-ish tomorrow night. But anyways, so this is our look at our storms tomorrow for Thursday. And it's looking pretty significant for you guys in Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. You can see a big squall line and of severe storms with damaging winds and hail threat moves southward across the region. And guess what? That severe weather threat does not diminish, like I just said when we were talking about our dew points. That severe weather also extends all the way back down through Texas, Louisiana, and portions of Mississippi. And listen, it's going to take a while for that severe weather to go away. This is a multi-day severe weather event, so we're going to be having severe weather all the way from today through Friday. So we really got to pay attention to that. Now here's a look at our latest SPC outlook for tomorrow, Wednesday, April 19th. We have a slight risk in place for portions of about central Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, northern Missouri, central Kansas, and western Oklahoma. Now, this is where we have the potential for some extremely large hail. And sorry, that was the wrong one. But this is where we have the potential for some extremely large hail. 15% with 10% severe. That is like very large to extremely large hail. Or that's showing hail possibly upwards of 2.5 to 3 inches in diameter across that entire risk area. We still do have now a 2% risk, but that was just shortly upgraded to a 5% risk across portions of southeastern Nebraska and eastern Kansas. This is where we could have a couple tornadoes possible. Strong tornadoes are not a threat, really. Just a couple weak tornadoes are possible with this event. Wind is also I'd say a primary hazard with this. Now, this is what our latest SPC outlook shows. Their wind is definitely a threat. It's not the biggest threat, but it is a big threat. And that severe weather threat does not diminish, like I said. And this is a really big severe weather outbreak, extending all the way from southeastern Missouri through eastern Texas, extreme southeastern Oklahoma, central Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and that's about it. And the primary hazards with this are going to be damaging winds and large hail, but a isolated weak tornado is possible within that slight risk area. And it's just the same for Friday, April 21st. We have that slight risk in place for western Mississippi, central Louisiana, and eastern Texas or southeastern Texas. So this severe weather threat is not going away, and this also has the potential for an isolated weak tornado, spin-up tornado, very brief. Definitely some wind damage possible and hail possible. So thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you for all the support and how much subscribers I've been gaining. I know you guys like these kind of weather videos, like how I kind of changed it up over the past couple of days. So I'm glad you guys like it, and I will see you in my next video. I'll see you